Hello, I'm Irina Bokas. This is The Future of Learning. Most of us don't remember our first 2-3 years of life, but our earliest experiences may stick with us for years and continue to influence us well into adulthood. Just how they influence us and how much is a question that researchers are still trying to answer. Still, everyone agrees that the type of emotional support a child receives during the first 4 years has an effect on education, social life, and even romantic relationships 20 or 30 years later. To succeed in a complex and ever-changing world, high-quality early childhood programs teach children to think creatively. They view children as capable individuals and thinkers, reflecting about their world and playing to learn through the process of their efforts. They encourage children to make choices and practice individual decision-making. In Clarkston, early childhood education starts for some children as early as birth with special education program and continues through a 3- and 4-year-old preschool and young 5 kindergarten programs. How exactly our youngest students learn and what skills and qualities are being nurtured in them in this process? We took a little road trip to Early Childhood Center and had an opportunity to talk to Lisa Marion, its director, and Shelly Humphrey, a preschool teacher. Lisa, the first steps to their formal, if you wish, education, many Clarkston students are going to take in your building, Early Childhood Center. And your students are very, very, very young. Nonetheless, they are part of our school districts already and part of their philosophy as well. The mission of our schools is to cultivate learners, thinkers, and positive contributors to the global society. So what do you do in your building to contribute to this mission?
Well, many of our teachers have been preschool teachers for several years, and through education, different philosophies and beliefs have been used throughout the course of time. And Shelly will speak a little bit more about Reggio, but there has been an evolution in our building with the change into creating thinkers and learners and the ability in the classroom to have more opportunities for children to do hands-on. We're very play-based. We believe in allowing the children to have the opportunity to play and explore, create, build, share, work out their own problems, become members of society. And for them right now at 3 and 4, society is very small and global is very small, but they are introduced to many aspects that years ago they would not have had the opportunity to do so. And Shelly has been an integral part of bringing this belief to the building, being a great leader in
advocate.
Yes, and just keep pushing everybody into this direction, which has been a great evolution of watching everybody grow along with Shelly, but it has been great to see her take that journey.
Well, Shelly, then, since you brought the ideas of Reggio to the Early Childhood Center, I know that Reggio, as a philosophy, has its time and place like everything else, and it's originated in Italy, in Reggio Emilia, obviously, in 1945. Now, if we think about it, it's right after World War II. Given that this approach does have a very strong image of children, it still seems quite a different time. So why Reggio? Why now? And what exactly attracted you to this philosophy?
One of the things that I love the most about the origins of the Reggio approach in Reggio Emilia was that after the war, when they decided we need to rebuild our country, what's our most valuable asset? Where should we put our money? Where should we put our time? They chose their children. They realized that the children were the future, and that image of the child that's so strong in their culture is based on that fact. They cherish their children, and they feel like that the children have rights. They have a right to the very best education. They have a right to developmentally appropriate practices, to learn the way that children learn. So the teachers have dedicated their life to researching the children and how the children learn. And they studied Howard Gardner and Jerome Bruner, and they came to these conclusions from watching their children and studying that this is what education should look like, because this is how children learn. And so that whole idea is what we're trying to do here. We're trying to look at our children and say, how do they learn? What do we know about kids? When we watch them, what do we see? And incorporate what we learn into what we do. Not bringing our ideas in and trying to make the children conform to those ideas, but looking at the children and saying, what do they want to know? What do they want to learn about? What questions are they asking? Instead of the teacher being the one asking the questions. With me, the reason that this became personal was I had a son who struggled with learning in traditional school, and he was very intelligent, but I felt like there has to be other ways for him to show what he knows. He couldn't read or write. Okay. So what other ways can he show what he knows? And with the Reggio approach, they have a huge emphasis on 100 languages, that children have hundreds of different ways that they can show what they've learned. Okay. And I love that. I love that because I feel like we need to look at each individual child and see what their strengths are, see what they know, and not measure them against what they don't know, but give them opportunities to show what they're learning, what they're thinking.
So mostly not focusing on their deficits.
No deficits. There are no deficits.
But rather on their strengths.
Yes.
But it's interesting that what you said about looking at what is our most valuable assets. I think something saying that you put your assets or you put your money where your heart is. And I think certainly that is something that is universal and timeless.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what time it is.
Right.
But also in relation to this, our district's approach or direction is towards a culture of thinking. And this is sort of a different framework from Reggio. How do you believe the Reggio's ideas fit into that type of framework and in our school mission altogether?
I think it's a perfect fit because with the Reggio-inspired approach, you are looking at what the child is interested in. And if we want them to think, we have to give them things to think about. And what they want to think about is their own ideals, their own thoughts, their own wonderings. And that's where we get the very best thinking, where we get the deepest thinking. And I feel like that if we start out with that foundation of what do you want to know? What is it that you wonder about? What do you want to learn about? Then we can guide them into how to think deeper about those things. I feel like that with that type of approach that we get a lot more out of the kids than what we would traditionally come in with, learning colors, learning shapes. It's like they want to know so much more than that, and they want to think about so much more than that. I think traditionally we really limit them, and with the Reggio-inspired, it's all there. It's wide open. It's whatever they can think of, whatever they can dream of, and there's so much more learning, so much more thinking.
And certainly I believe Reggio will create certain dispositions, and the culture of thinking is about the dispositions, the forming dispositions, including critical thinking and curiosity and things like this.
Right. We have a strong, a lot of problem solving that we do in class because that's their real world, as they're interacting with each other. They learn from each other, they solve problems, and we do weigh pros and cons, and we do look at other viewpoints and, consider other opinions. A lot of the, the thinking routines, they learn when they're little and they're playing and they're interacting with each other.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Can we take a look at your classroom now?
Yes, let's go see that.
No doubt, Reggio Emilia ideas might sound very different from what we traditionally expect from schools and teachers. The essence of it needs to be experienced. We had a chance to step inside Shelly Humphrey's classrooms to see how it looks and feels to children. Shelly, what do you believe about children as an educator, and how does your classroom environment or whatever you have here in your classroom support these beliefs?
Okay. I believe that children are capable, that they're very curious about everything, that they have the ability to ask their own questions and to follow their interests and to learn from the things that they're passionate about, the things that they enjoy doing. In our classroom, we've set it up so that there's different areas where kids can explore and learn and discover. But the tour?
Yes, what would that be?
Well, this is like where we've introduced different ideals of our people around the world. So these are the dolls that our kids have to play with, a different variety. Our reading area, we love for our parents to be involved in the classroom. They come in each morning and read to the kids, so we have, you know, comfortable places for them to sit and read their books. A writing and computer area.
What do they do here on the computers?
We have computer games that they play, learning games that they play. They make a lot of books, their own books that they work on, writing lots of letters, lots of love letters.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
Valentine's Day coming soon?
We try to bring in a lot of nature, things from outside, music. This is our block area. We have a lot of train building, a lot of problem solving takes place here. In our classroom, we don't have traditional toys. We have a lot of junk for the kids to play with.
Junk? What kind of junk?
It's all junk, but they think it's treasures. You know, just things that we can bring in and that they can wonder about and think about what could this be or how could I use this.
Well, this is quite interesting right over here.
It's the wind blowing machine.
I see. That is quite interesting. What do you think that is? Huh? What do you think that is?
What is that? What could you use that for? Our maker area, where we do our tinkering, where the kids they're taking stuff apart and building new things with what they take apart.
What is that?
Oh no, isn't it awesome?
So what can they build with this?
They're planning on building a robot. We have a team of robot builders. We have a team of robot builders. They started out building a robot with junk. Behind you, you can see their first attempt at a robot, and they're planning on creating a new robot, a working robot. I'm excited to see that happen. And that is okay. Thank you. Beautiful. It is very beautiful. One of the Reggio principles is having a beautiful place for the children to come and learn. You know, a place where they want to be here. That shows the beauty shows that we value them, that we think they're worthy of this, of beauty, and that's the same reason we use glass dishes for our meals, and the children wash the dishes.
Oh, they do, huh?
Yeah, with help. You know, I do it with them, but the whole ideal behind that is to show that we value them. And one little boy summed it up perfectly because he said, "I feel like we're kings and queens." And it's like, that's what I want you to feel like. That's what I want you to feel like, that you're that valuable to us. So the things, we do have a lot of glass, we have a lot of real materials, and that's to teach the children to use them carefully so that they observe them more, that they have more meaning to it, to everything that they handle. Legos are huge in here. We have, I can see a lot of learning that takes place with the Lego construction.
Well, Shelly, I know that one of the, not necessarily issues, but some of the questions that parents, not just parents, but maybe some teachers will have with something like Reggio, for example, is that it's a self-guided curriculum, which means you don't teach a child anything until he or she shows the sign that the knowledge is ready to be received. And this is kind of a very hard concept to grasp in a classroom where you have so many kids. How does it look like, and how can you measure that they're learning?
We do have an assessment piece that we use, and it's based on what a child does know, what they can do. And the whole principle behind that is that these things that they learn at this age, they will learn them. And so our job is to recognize it when it happens. And the things that they learn at this age, they learn best through hands-on experiences, through interacting with each other and from each other, the social collaboration. So our job, as far as our assessment piece, is to see it happen and to record it. And it's never about what they cannot do or what they do not know. It's really having that faith and that belief that they will learn what they need to learn, and they'll learn it better when it's their own idea. And they all do. They all, I mean, we have children who are already starting to read. We have children who figured out how to do math. These are things that their brain is set up to learn. We just have to give them the stuff, the room, and the time, you know, to be ready and catch it when it comes out.
Basically, we have to take a leap of faith.
It is so much. And that is what I love about the Reggio Emilia, is that they believe in their kids. They have faith in their kids. They believe the kids are their future. So they put all their faith in the kids. And I want us to do that here as well, to have that kind of faith in them. That they will
Thank you very much. It's certainly a beautiful place.
Research suggests that the development of free-thinking, self-directed young adults, ready to venture into the next phase of their education and eager to contribute positively to global society, starts very early. It starts with learning how to be friends, play, help, and share, how to make good choices. These are crucial skills we need to learn, even in preschool and kindergarten. As Russian psychologist Lev Vygotsky said, every function in the child's cultural development appears twice, first on the social level, and later on the individual level. First between people, and then inside the child. In other words, we learn by interacting with others.